Hello, I am Rosemary Jan, an emeritus professor of English at George Mason University, where I specialize in 19th century British fiction and nonfiction prose. My course is going to focus on a single 900-page novel, Bleak House by Charles Dickens, which was originally published in monthly installments in 1852 and 53. Bleak House is a classic example of what literary critics have called the Victorian multi-plot novel. Although the novelist Henry James later derided such works as loose, baggy monsters because of their proliferation of themes, characters, and subplots, modern critics have come to appreciate the artistry that shapes their complexity, and I hope you will do the same if you take this course. Bleak House offers the familiar pleasures of reading Dickens, the eccentric characters, the righteous satire against the abuses of the day, and a comic style so distinctive that it can only be called Dickensian. But it offers more challenging pleasures as well. It features two different narrators, and the reader must work to assemble the truth of the story from their disparate perspectives. Bleak House is at heart a detective story. There's a literal murder mystery solved by a plainclothes detective. But on a larger scale, the entire novel is an exercise in investigating mysteries, as multiple characters and the narrators strive to determine the secret truths behind different behaviors and to unravel the hidden relationships that link seemingly unrelated people to one another. What seems at first to be a bewildering multiplicity of characters and actions ultimately reveals itself to be a social world knit together by complex patterns of analogy, symbolism, and affiliation. I will occasionally give short lectures to fill in historical background and set up analytical issues, but I intend to run this as a discussion class. And given the extensive amount of reading, there'll be no other formal assignments for it. As my former students could tell you, my emphasis in literature classes is not just on coming up with an interpretation, like pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but on being able to understand the assumptions and inferences that have led you to your interpretation. In other words, how do you decide what meanings an author intends? What analytical processes might lead you to interpretations other than the ones that you think the author intends? I recommend using an unabridged edition of the novel with good footnotes, and that includes the original illustrations by Hablo K. Brown. I'm going to be using the Oxford World's Classics. It is out of print, but used copies are available on Amazon, as are ebook versions if you prefer to read that way. So thank you for your time, and I hope you'll join me in late October for the pleasures of wrestling with what I think is one of the great novels of the 19th century.